On the 5th of February in 2016, the Lily mine in Barberton collapsed and caved, taking with it the lamp room, which was part of the surface infrastructure, and burying it under the rubble. Solomon and Nyirenda, pretty Nkambule and Yvonne Mnisi were inside, and 8 years on, their bodies have not been recovered. 76 employees who were also trapped underground were subsequently rescued through a narrow ventilation shaft. An inquest was held in November of 2021, and presiding magistrate Anna-Marie van der Merwe said it is clear from the evidence presented in court that the institutions of the SAPS and the DMRE were, at the time of the disaster, merely giving lip service to the issue of illegal mining, and they were not effectively addressing the issue. She also found that the deaths of the three were caused by an omission on the part of the employer and or mine management to do proper assessments as required by the Mine Health and Safety Act. Action SA has kept the incident alive and continues to ask for accountability, and leader Herman Mashaba joins me now. Herman, good morning to you and welcome. Thanks as always for your time. Why is this tragedy one that you simply don't want the country to forget about?
Well, thank you very much and good morning to Newzroom Afrika, and thank you for the opportunity. I'll tell you one thing I've learned in life. If we let this thing to go away, one thing for sure, Iman, it's going to happen to you and your family next time. That's a fact of life, and it's not something that is unique to South Africa. It's a worldwide phenomenon. When something happens to your neighbor or happens to someone and you say it's got nothing to do, I can tell you the Lily Mine tragedy, the injustice we've experienced, the families have experienced over the last 8 years, it directly affects me, because one day it's going to, if I put my head in the sand, it is going to happen to me, it's going to happen to you, it's going to happen to all of us, South Africa. It's a kind of cancer that putting our heads in the sand, if we ignore it, it's going to spread and it might be too late to salvage it. It is for that reason when this matter was brought to my attention, because before it was brought directly to my attention, I knew it like ordinary South Africans, that container collapsed, and we were told that the container cannot be retrieved. And for some reason in 2020, when the family contacted me, when I was running the People's Dialogue, and I went to listen to them, immediately I could see something was not right. The numbers were not adding up. I said, there's just, because I asked the family, I said, tell me, when the department and the mine management said that this container cannot be retrieved, and what you are telling me, what informed them? They said nothing. And also brought to my attention, and with evidence, that 2 years prior to the collapse of this container, mine management, DMRE, were informed by two independent mine experts that this company was actually, what they were doing was one day going to lead to a serious consequences. That's when I said to the family, let me take this matter up. The first question, I'll get you the best lawyers in Johannesburg, but what I want the lawyers to do, the first thing I want the lawyers to do is to ask the Department of Minerals and Energy. They must give us the evidence of what informed their decision that that container cannot be retrieved.
Herman,
you had to take for the court.
Herman, let's get into then what subsequently happened. There was an inquest ordered, and the magistrates at the conclusion of the inquest said that a recording of the proceedings would be given to the NDPP, and there was this possibility of instituting criminal proceedings. Has anything happened since the announcement of the findings in October last year?
Iman, I've done everything really possible, including in December, beginning of December, because remember the Mbobela Magistrate Court judgment was in October of last year. And by the late November, early December, there was nothing happening. And the family were asking me, what's happening? When is the court judgment going to be respected? Because NPA has been given instructions by the court to start the criminal charges against officials in the Department of Minerals and Energy, with the people in the subs who were party to those mine management and the BRP, the Business Rescue Practitioners. When I wrote the letter to the divisional provincial commission of NPA in Mpumalanga in December, to my surprise, I get a response that their senior people are on holiday. My goodness, holiday when the court judgment was issued already in October. Families have been camping now for 6 years. They have not just lost their loved ones. They've been camping next to this mine for over 6 years, and you are telling us people are on holiday. It's a shame, and I issued a statement in that regard. Beginning of this year, I think February, March, you remember the Iman, I know Newzroom Afrika covered the event. I went with a family to the NPA headquarters in Tshwane. Even up to date, nothing has happened. It is for that reason I've taken a decision with the family that let's now try this new administration comprising of all the political parties and see if something will come out of this. I've subsequently, last week, also wrote a letter to the public protector and the South African Human Rights Commission. And hopefully this new government of national unity, this coalition government, people can take responsibility, because if you look at majority of these political parties who are in this arrangement, they've been party to this also for all these years. They've all totally ignored the plight of these families. Parliament never did anything. So let's hope now that it's no longer just ANC on their own. Let's see now if all of them can take the responsibility. Obviously,
so I just want to come in there. Let me come in there, Herman, because there's two key issues that I would like to get through. You did receive power of attorney from the families to pursue whatever was needed. So whether that was civil or criminal litigation against some of the parties found liable. The inquest also found that there was this rampant illegal mining in the area around the Lily mine, and that the police had failed. The DMRE, this is the Department of Mineral Resources and Energy at that time, didn't do enough to combat it, and this formed part of the sort of big contributing factor to the collapse. So given, as you say, you're going after the 7th administration, just walk us through practically what that means. Are you writing to each of those ministries in police and the Mineral Resources Department? What concrete steps are you taking, Herman?
No, so far I've written a letter to the Speaker to institute proceedings to really get the committees responsible for the police, responsible for minerals and energy, Department of Justice, to see why they are holding on to for pursuing court orders, court judgment. So people are in violation of court orders. In fact, if you look at the business rescue practitioners, they are in contempt of 3 court orders. The NPA is literally refusing to prosecute. I can't even say reluctant. They are literally refusing to cooperate. So this matter needs to go deep into it. And I've had consultation with my legal team to pursue civil claims. But it's going to be very difficult when you operate in an environment where government itself in a country does not respect the laws of the country. So that's why we want to really pursue this through our parliament and see if parliament will really be cooperative. I can tell you, and I want to commit to people of this country, in the event that this new administration refuses to cooperate and assist these families, the only best way to bring this matter is to now approach international courts. And that's exactly what I want to promise people of South Africa that I will do. But I want to give our new parliament an opportunity to show South Africans they are there to protect them against illegality. And in the event that they don't, Parliament is not prepared to get our agencies, our law enforcement agencies to operate, will be left with no option than to approach international courts.
Which courts, very quickly, I have a final question for you, but which courts internationally were you wanting to approach?
Well, I think my legal people, obviously we're still far away. I think let's give the process an opportunity, give our own parliament an opportunity to serve the interest of South Africans. But in the event that parliament is not interested in giving justice, providing justice to these 3 families, we're left with no option than approach international courts.
What about Goldfields? Herman, this is the owner of the Lily mine at the time. They were found to have failed to have conducted proper risk assessments, that could have averted the disaster. Are you planning to institute any criminal cases against them on behalf of the families?
Well, it's not Goldfields, it's Vantage Capital or whatever it is called. It is clear in the court judgment that mine management must be held directly accountable for this murder. Let's not even call it an accident. It's not even, as far as I'm concerned, this is not culpable homicide. This is actual murder, but obviously the courts will make that determination, and our criminal justice system, if they so decide, because right now they're refusing to really treat this matter. So, and I really hope and pray that our parliament can demonstrate that they are for human rights and human rights of poor South Africans as enshrined in our constitution.
Right, Herman Mashaba, the leader of Action SA, there, keeping the plight of the families connected to the Lily mine tragedy back in 2016.